So today, we're going to dive into how to architect a premier customer experience. And you know what? It all really boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful idea. You've got to understand what your customers expect even before they walk in the door. Let's get into it. The material we're looking at today kicks off with this really bold statement: great expectations. Getting it right the first time. Now, that's not just some catchy little phrase, it's the core principle. It really highlights the high stakes world of customer interactions, where, let's be honest, you often don't get a second chance. So that immediately begs the question, right? What does it actually take to nail it every single time? Is it just about having the flashiest product? Or maybe the lowest price? Well, as we're about to find out, the answer is way more fundamental than any of that. See, to get it right, you have to start with the customer's core desire. This is the truth that's driving every single purchase, every support call, every piece of feedback they leave. It's literally the engine running under the hood of every decision they're making. And this core desire, it's all rooted in what we call customer expectation. So let's be super clear about what this means. It's the standard of quality and service a customer anticipates. It's not just something they hope for. It's a baseline they've already set in their head before they even pick up the phone or click on your website. So what is that standard? Well, the source puts it just brilliantly and so simply. Customers always want the best. Now, hold on, this isn't about entitlement. It's just that in a world with endless choices and instant reviews, good enough just doesn't cut it anymore. For their specific situation, for them, the expectation is for the absolute best possible outcome. And here is where things get really interesting. Because understanding this simple truth, or, well, failing to understand it, creates this massive divide. It is the difference between success and failure. And it all comes down to how you handle those expectations. I mean, the source material says it flat out. Different customer expectations contribute to different outcomes. This is such a critical link. The customer's perception doesn't just influence the outcome. In so many ways, it is the outcome. Their experience is their reality, period. This really lays out the two paths that fork from that divide. On one side, if you understand expectations, you get aligned service, positive outcomes, and real loyalty. But on the other side, yeah, if you misunderstand those expectations, you get mismatched service, negative outcomes, and churn. You don't just lose a sale. You could be creating someone who actively tells other people to stay away. The stakes just couldn't be any higher. So the big question becomes, how do we make sure we are always on that path to loyalty? How do we bridge that gap and meet those great expectations consistently? Well, the answer we get is actually pretty clear. We need to adopt a holistic perspective. And what that means is we have to shift from seeing customers as just, transactions or support tickets, and instead start seeing them as whole people in their own unique situations. And this whole idea breaks down into a really clear three-step strategy. First up, acknowledge the desire. Just accept it as a fundamental truth that every customer wants the best. Don't fight it. Build your service around it. Second, understand the context. The best is going to mean something a little different for every single person. This is where you move from theory into practice. And finally, step 3, connect to the outcome. It's our job to proactively draw a straight line from their expectation to the result we deliver, closing that loop for them. And when you put all those pieces together, well, that's when you get the payoff. This isn't just about making people feel good. It's a practical, repeatable strategy for actually achieving that goal we started with, getting it right the first time. Honestly, this is the absolute heart of it all. A holistic view is the only way to consistently meet those great expectations. It's the framework that can turn a reactive, kind of panicked service model into a proactive, experience-building machine. So what are the big takeaways here? Let's boil it down. First, every single customer comes to you with great expectations. They always want the best. Second, those expectations aren't just sitting there. They're actively driving your business outcomes. And third, the only truly reliable way to meet them is by understanding your customers holistically. And that leaves us with one last, kind of provocative thought to chew on. As you go about your work, just ask yourself this: are you really architecting experiences based on a deep, holistic understanding of your customers? Or are you just taking your best guess at what they want? The answer to that question is going to define your success.